Do you recognize this little guy who will go on to set the pitch of the Etihad Stadium on fire? It's Phil Foden. This video is the best thing you'll see today. It dates back to 2007, and at this time, Phil was already a Manchester City fan and was already dreaming of playing there one day. And he never stops believing that he'd made it. This is the story of a kid who dreamed of blue skies from a young age. This is the story of a kid who was destined to play football, overflowing with talent.
Quinn is the most talented player I've ever seen in my career as a football player manager.
The story of a kid who only dreamed of one thing: becoming a Manchester City superstar. A kid who achieved the dream of millions of children, playing for his favorite club. And through very hard work and passion, he did it comfortably. Phil Foden is a sky blue, a citizen through and through. Since these photos were taken, a lot has changed. The world has changed. Manchester City has experienced different teams, different coaches. But Phil Foden's love for Manchester City hasn't changed. In fact, it's become even stronger. He inherited this love for City from his mother. His father, his older brother, and his uncles were actually big fans of Manchester United, but he saw life in sky blue. I started going to Etihad with my mother every weekend, singing Blue Moon from the stands like all the other fans. And this football ritual with his mother led to a crazy dream, a life goal: playing for Manchester City, swapping the stands of the Etihad for the pitch. A dream which only grew in 2007, when he accompanied Martin Petrov onto the pitch during a Manchester City-Sunderland game. Phil didn't know it yet, but 10 years later, the kid would go from being the mascot to the player. 10 years later, he would become the youngest player to win the Premier League at only 17 years old. But let's not skip any of the steps. Let's go back to his origins. The year is 2007. Phil is only 7, but his destiny was already gaining steam. His family are all football fans and live in Greater Manchester, so it was only natural that he chose to make football his life. In 2007, he made his debut with the Reddish Vulcans. And Phil quickly proved to be talented, very talented, too talented even. Just 2 years after making his debut, Manchester City came knocking on Foden's door. The club he and his mother loved came looking for him. It was the start of his sky blue dream. It was the start of huge demands on him, because it's not enough to be very talented to become a footballer. You have to work. You have to know where you're going. You have to keep at it. You have to be patient. But Phil knew how to live up to these demands. Patience? He'd inherited that from his father, who took him fishing, a hobby he still enjoys to this day in his free time. Know where he's going? He's known that since he went through the turnstiles of the Etihad Stadium for the first time with his mother, and even more so when he accompanied Martin Petrov onto the pitch. Working and keeping it up? Here again, Phil knew how to do it thanks to his determination, thanks to the strength of his dream, thanks to his family. Combining these ingredients allowed him to go very high very quickly. Manchester City fans didn't take long to find a nickname for him: Stockport's Iniesta. A town in the Manchester area where he was born on May 28, 2000. Stockport's Iniesta had skills comparable to Fuengirola's Iniesta: intelligence, technical ease, good finishing, positioning, a desire to win. But Foden's idol is David Silva, not Iniesta, and he wanted to follow in his footsteps. When Silva arrived at City, Phil was 10 years old and quickly fell under his charm. I grew up watching and admiring this City team, so now to be playing with guys like Vinny and David is crazy, and I smile about it every day. Except when Manchester City came looking for Foden in 2009, the club wasn't the same. It had gone into another dimension. During the summer of 2008, City were bought by an investment fund from Abu Dhabi. This was the start of major operations, the start of being majorly rich. Manchester City signed big names, stars, and didn't put training young players as their #1 priority. Even amazing talents like Jadon Sancho didn't find a space for himself and had to leave. But Phil Foden didn't give up. He worked. He hung on. He knew where he was going. He was patient. And that paid off in 2017. That year, Foden won the U17 World Cup with England. He made his debut with City in the Premier League and in the Champions League, and he won individual prizes. Even if he'd got through the hardest, Foden still had a long way to go.
He has everything to become one of the best players, not just in England. So only has a problem. Sometimes his manager don't put it in the start 11. So hopefully in the future can improve and give him. He deserves all the minutes. But you know as well in which team he's playing, in his competitors' fellows. It's not easy, but he's open-minded. He works incredible hard every training session, and he knows how I appreciate him.
His hard work and patience are paying off. His idol, David Silva, left, and Phil is now only dreaming one thing now: to earn a place in City fans' hearts like the Spaniard did for him. Foden is still young. He has time for that. Right now, he'll make mistakes. In September 2020, he was kicked off the England team with Mason Greenwood after inviting some Icelandic women into their hotel room after a Three Lions game. A mistake he recognized. I'm a young player with a lot to learn, but I am aware of the huge responsibility I have in representing Manchester City and England at this level. On this occasion, I made a poor decision and my behavior didn't meet the standards expected of me. I breached COVID-19 protocols put in place to protect myself and my England colleagues. Time will tell if this was a mistake of youth, in all likelihood. The kid is too good to let the success train go past without jumping aboard. He fulfilled his dream, that of becoming a Manchester City player. No longer taking part in the Sky Blue games as a fan, but as a player. He fulfilled his dream, going from spectator of David Silva's performances to becoming David Silva's teammate. He gave himself the means to make his childhood dream come true, and he achieved it. His grandfather, who died aged 47, the reason behind Phil wearing the number 47, must be proud of him. So remember one thing. Whatever your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses, and however difficult your dream may seem to achieve, you should never stop believing. Become who you want to be.